After yesterday's rain, the track is being prepared for today. As you can see, there's an awful lot of dirt on there. At the moment, they're just bringing it into the racing line where we pushed it out yesterday, and then hopefully they're going to roll it down flat. But right at the moment, it's just too wet to roll, so it will just stick to the roller. But look at that. It's going to be completely different racing today. If they don't roll it as hard as they did yesterday, you're going to get an awful lot more grip, which will be really good and make for some really good racing. Peterborough, day 2, and the bike's all ready to race. It's been cleaned up, we've changed the gearing a little bit. As you can see from behind me, it's a beautiful sunny day at the moment, complete contrast to how we finished yesterday, although the weather forecast is for rain later on. So we're hopeful that it holds off until we get through the race card. We start a bit earlier today because obviously we need to be able to get home, and so we're starting at 11 and finishing at 4 today, or 5, and then we'll be heading off home. In between, we've got 4 races minimum to go out and make a nuisance of ourselves, and make a nuisance yesterday we certainly did. So now we're looking forward to getting in among the grips of it. There's been a couple of practices for the quads just now, and then we'll be going out in race 11, will be our first race. So it's going to be a fun day and we're looking forward to it. Now it's walked through the pits, so turn the camera around. These are the quad bikes. I'll just give you a quick show of some of the racing teams that we're going to be racing against. Just coming up on Mark Cossa and his boy Toby. Mark's working away, he's always doing something on the bike, but then that's why he's generally the bloke in the front. And then we've got Paul Whitelam and Richard Hall. We come round to Mick Cave's bike and Will Penfold and Ricky Pay. And that was Ricky just wandering through there.
We've never moved that yesterday, it must have been dragging in the dirt.
We've just done our first race and the engine was not quite warm enough, and so it faltered on the line, and there's an awful lot of grip on the line as well. And good race, came third. Bike's handling really well, completely different than it was yesterday. And Roger and Harry are now just turning the wheel so that we've got a good edge on the tyre for the next race, and lubricating the chain, getting it straight, and then we'll be back out shortly for our next race.
All fueled up, we've done the wheel.
These are the sort of activities that take place between races: changing tyres, turning wheels, changing gearing. We're sticking with the same gearing that we had for the last race. The engine was revving and pulling, but it wasn't revving really hard. Unlike yesterday where it was screaming, today it's actually just about right. We've got another change of tyres going on. We're getting through tyres quite quickly today. The ones that we've got are fairly well worn, and we probably need to get some new ones. Well, we will for the next meeting, but we're just turning tyres and sticking with what we've got, because that's what we've got to do. Ready, and so Harry's just putting another tyre on another rim, ready for our next race, or for the semi-final. The tyre that we've got in the back at the moment will probably only last one more race, so we need to have a tyre that we can use for a semi-final and potentially a final if we're successful getting through to the semi-final. Frustratingly, because the weather looks like it's going to close in and we're going to get some more rain, they've called the last heat, so we won't be riding that, which from a point scoring point of view we'd have done quite well, and we really just want to get out and ride the bike. But we've made the semi-final anyway, and we just have to see how we get on. So I've just ordered up some new tyres and a couple of inner tubes as well, so that we're ready for next time we're out on the bike, which isn't now until July on this series, but it's quite possible that we're going to be out on a different series with the ACU in the not too distant future, which would be fantastic. That's a much more intense race pattern, simply because it is only sidecars and there's no breaks in between races. So it's 4 heats out, and then the next 4 heats, and then the next 4 heats, and it's really high pressure racing. And if we need to do anything on the bike in between, we don't have much time to do it. We've just ridden the semi-final and didn't get quite the result that we wanted, but we still had a good race. The bike, we got last pick of the gate, and the bike bogged down on the start where it was a lot of dirt on the outside of the track. And no matter what I did, trying to get my weight off the back wheel for the initial spin, it still dug in. And then we had a good race, but the opposition had the drive and the position on us. So lots to learn and lots that we can do with the bike. But all in all, a good day's racing. So it's been a good day, a good weekend racing, and we've had a lot of fun. As you can see, the weather's improved. So we could probably have had our final heat, but there's still the final to go, which will be a rather exciting one. And bear in mind that we're still only learning to ride this particular bike, and we've been racing against competition who have been riding theirs for a few seasons, and the top competition in the country is here today. So to expect to try and beat them with only having had 4 race days against them is probably a bit much anyway. But we're doing well, we're right up with them, we're keeping up with them. We actually rode 2 laps in front of Mark Cosser, who's a British Masters champion. He's the British champion for Speedway, so to be able to race with him, then we're not far off the mark. This is the lineup for the Sidecar final. Mark Cosser, Gareth Williams, Mick Stace, I still can't remember the passenger's name, Nick Cave, Bradley Steer, Paul Whitelam and Richard Hall. This is going to be some final. These guys, top riders in the country. We've been competing with all of them all day. And when I say competing, I mean we've been in front of all of them at some point throughout the day. So it's been good. It might only have been a half a turn, but even in our last race, where we dug in on the line, we were actually positioned second, but we were too wide. We were out on the outside of the track. We were positioned second in the first bend, but the 2 bikes on the inside of us came through and then filled us in with dirt. So just need to do a little bit more work on that, be able to hold it in when we need to, and we'll be right there with them. Now the way that this works is that the highest point scorer gets the first pick on the gate. So with these ones, we only wear, normally with normal Speedway, we wear the helmet colours, to show our gate position. But with these ones, this series, you're given a helmet colour, and then the highest point scorer can choose their position, and then it works down. So the helmet colours get mixed up. The reason the riders have got helmet colours is just so that the people doing the point scoring can actually calculate it. And Mark's gone right the way around to have a look at that. And then he'll go all the way back round again. It could be that they're going to use the colours that they've got on the helmet. Certainly in our semi-final it didn't, although we were in yellow, which is the outside position. That's the least popular position. So there comes Mark, got his first choice. Paul gets second, Stace gets third, and Cave gets fourth. Looks like Mark's decided to go for the inside line. As you can see, Mick Stace looks like he might be taking the outside one from here, but it could just be the angle. No, they've all actually lined up pretty much as they should do. I can never remember the colour coordination for it. I know that red and yellow are on the outside. I think it should be red, blue, white, yellow, but I'd be wrong. We're lining up and they're getting ready. They're under started orders. Tapes are going up and they're off. That dust actually looks worse than it is from the outside. When you're in amongst it, it's not quite so bad. Race for second. Looking like. Oh no, it's gone off. Plenty of room. He's allowed to do that because he went off. We're not using Speedway. Speedway rules would normally mean that if you go into the centre green, you're out of the race. But they're not using those Speedway rules here. So he was able to join the track where he came off it.